All right, all right, all right. So we're gonna talk about getting trades. How can you get a trade if and you're really skillful? And there's a lot of black dudes out there who are really skilled in trades. Why are they not getting hired? Why are black men still the highest EEOC? Why are black men still the highest EEOC with all these dudes running around here, engineers, so on and so forth? People say get a trade, get a trade. The people who are saying get a trade don't even have a trade themselves. Most of the people on YouTube who say get a trade don't have a trade. Most of the people are like get a trade, but then they don't want you to know what they do, or they do something totally different from the trade they're telling you to get. So, what is the whole get a trade mindset? How? Why? It can't be about get a trade. But I'm going to invite some people on. Maybe they got a different point of view. But I don't see how get a trade can help you if you don't have. I mean, it might help a couple of guys. Like it might help 200 guys, 200,000 guys. But I've seen dudes have to fight immigration just to get. I mean, this is before COVID. I've seen dudes have to fight just to get hired at the job site. They had to, I mean, actually take people to court to get on the job site. So when people say get a trade, and the people who are telling you to get a trade don't even have a trade themselves, I'm confused. What are we talking about? How are we going to say get a trade? How does that work? I'm trying to invite some people on. Uh, Yogi Fish, can you come up for a second? I mean, I'd like to hear what you say about this get a trade thing. Yogi Fish, what I'm hearing is brothers say, and they've been saying this for a while, they've been saying get a trade, get a trade. But then the people who are saying get a trade don't have a trade themselves. The people who are saying give it, I heard Edward say get a trade, but Edward don't have a trade. I've heard BGS say get a trade. BGS, we don't even know what he does for a living. So how can you tell people to get a trade? The problem is you have to go once you get certified in this trade. You don't have enough. Keyword here is enough. You don't have enough black faces to bring you in, let alone black companies. So why not just go be a manager first? Why not just go be a manager first? I'm not saying don't ever get a trade, but you want to get a trade with a management type of certification, a management degree. Why not understand about payroll and why not? Why not do those things first? Let's talk blue collar for a minute. People say, Mr. Research, you hate on blue collar. No, I just think you need to go get management skills first. When we was out selling dope, when we was out pimping girls, when we was out shooting people, you had to manage your bullets, you had to manage your re-up, you had to manage chicks. I mean, I don't see why you don't want to manage. You just want to put yourself in a position to go work for somebody. That's not gonna fly. You can't survive like that. Now Jeremiah asked me to do the show. I'm still waiting on Jeremiah. Jeremiah said he's gonna come up. This whole show is brought to you by Jeremiah, and we kind of waiting on Jeremiah at this point. Um, Sent him the link, hoping that he show up. So anyway, anybody else out there believe that once you get a trade, you guaranteed a job? Does anybody think that once you get a trade, you are guaranteed a job? Does anybody know about that? Once you get a trade, you guarantee a job. Is anybody aware of that? And I think that's the point that I've been trying to say to people. It's harder for you to get work now that black men have given up all their power. Black men used to control so many things. Black men used to control so many things that do you need the call in number, Jeremy? Would you prefer to call in number? Black men need so much that they don't realize you gave all that up in the 70s and the 80s. You allow women to come in and now they kicked you out. So I don't know how you guys expect that if you just get a trade, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm not going to be arrogant about it. I just believe you guys need to get the you need to get the you guys need to get the okay, I just sent it. You guys need to get the management first, man. So many of you guys don't even know how to manage people. You don't know how to uh, bargain for a count. So how are we supposed to make this work? The fantasy is, hey, once we just get a trade, Massa give us a little bit of money and we'll be cool. Yeah. That, I mean, you guys make good money. You drive big trucks. You do good, but you kind of stressing a gig. You like, you know, you running from contract to contract while the white and the Latin dude is just easily, hey, they call me when they. I worked at some sites, man. Cats is like, oh, I don't even look for sites. They call me. And yeah, there's some black men that happen to, but the majority of black dudes don't have that type of experience. They don't have people just calling them. What up, Carlton? We're talking about blue collar workers today. Carlton, what industry do you work in? Maybe you can relate to this. Carlton, what industry do you work in? See, getting a trade, gentlemen, getting a trade means that you're gonna have to get a black face or somebody who don't have a problem with a black face to pull you in. Every time I drive on the road, I see construction workers, city contracts, and they don't look black. And why is that? Because they're keeping you out, irregardless of your skill set. There are less and less and less contract workers, and the lie is always, what's good, New World Order? There are less and less contract workers. I'm not saying there ain't 100,000 dudes doing well. Yogi Fish, where is I know there's a female black construction and engineering company. Where are the other black ones, Yogi Fish, that you know of?
I really don't know the construction world too well to know what the firms are called. I know there are firms
that are black.
Yeah, that are black firms.
Firms, and define what you mean firms.
They're the people that manage construction sites. So a lot of people think construction company is the big dog. It's really the firms that will get their construction company. So there are a lot of firms that people go to and say, "Hey, I need this built." Then they're the ones
that falls under project management, though.
Well, no, because a lot of them, the companies are subsidiaries of that firm that deal with the different areas of construction, but they don't necessarily call those subsidiaries their company. They're under their company, so they're subsidiaries of their company. And they may be white, different other cultures. But the big company, I do know of some black ones. I don't know their names right now, but they deal with different areas of construction delegation type thing.
Okay.
People come to them and they say, "Oh, we can get this firm to do it, and we'll set that up for you."
So let's go with that premise. Mm-hmm. Let's say that there is, and let's put it at 500,000. So 500,000 black firms. Why are these black tradesmen having to take sites to court for infringement of equal rights?
Just because someone's black doesn't mean they're gonna treat you fairly. You know what I mean?
Well,
Just because a
you got
company.
people say, well, you got people saying get a trade, so that's supposed to fix everything.
Getting the trade doesn't mean you're gonna get the job. It just means you have a skill to fight with.
Okay, if I say go be a manager, does that mean that that the percentages for you getting the management job are higher than the get a trade guys?
Yeah, but management is a trade too.
I know, but percentages.
Well, I'm just saying, as you said, trade. So I mean, if your trade is managerial, administration, and all that kind of thing, then that's your trade.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna roll with you on that. But here's the thing. This is why I think. This is just me personally, Yogi Fish. This is why I think black men don't succeed, because of what you just did just now. You diluted a word.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to understand your meaning of the word. Are you saying mechanical trades versus administrative trades, or just see, I'm looking at the word trade as a skill set.
Yeah, management is not a trade. In the terminology that they out in blue collar world call the trade is the engineers, the fabricators, the machine shop guys.
Right.
Automotive is not a trade in their classification.
Oh, really? That's people go to trade school to become mechanics.
Yeah, but not in their classification. Mechanic is not a trade. Trade is the sheet metal, the painters, really builder type stuff.
That's industrial trades.
Mm-hmm. So if you were to say that those things, those builder type scenarios minus auto, what I try to share with guys is not that I beat down on the look. I try to help black men see the overall picture.
Right.
That I guess you and I, Yogi Fish, more so see. Maybe you even more than me. You're better to go be a manager and get that at a higher percentage, call it 60, 70%, as opposed to a trade that's an even 50-50, because the people there's always going to be a need for manager. There's always going to be a need for manager. But
see, the way you're describing it, at least from my perspective, relates to availability of opportunity for your trade. Like you're saying, wherever you're focusing is, you have a better chance. But people who deal with bridges, let's say, is a trade. They're in bridge building, whatever the various parts of building the bridge are. Doesn't mean they're going to build a bridge where they're living. They might be with a firm that will take them overseas to build bridges.
But then now we're into might maybe zone, right?
No, but I'm just saying the industry itself is not a build a bridge where you live. It's build a bridge wherever a bridge will take you. They may go anywhere. Bridge builders, that's just part of the industry of bridge builders. They don't just do it in their local area. It's bridge building, and that industry is wherever the bridge needs to be built. So it takes you somewhere.
Yes. And again, that means that it limits how many of those positions are available. Would you agree?
Bridge building, no, there's a lot of the people always needing bridge builders.
Okay,
it's just
for a million people.
Well, I mean, what job does one group of people in the millions?
Management.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, you have to look at what it is you're trying to get from that job. Do all manager jobs pay you enough money to feed a family by yourself?
The same way all builder jobs don't pay enough money. You got to actually, like you just said.
Well, I'm just talking about a bridge building. I'm just saying bridge build. I'm just saying if I was looking at, I want to make a certain amount of money, a bridge builder will send me to Iraq to build a bridge for a lot of money. A manager won't send me to Iraq for $100,000, in 6 months. But a bridge builder will.
So let me marry something you just said and something Gabe said. Gabe said a lot of times, Mr. Research, you start with the premise and impose the premise no matter what anyone can say. Well, I could say the same thing, Gabe, is that fantasy talk. I so Gabe, you do the same thing that Yogi did, and I'm not knocking it. That's
Well,
y'all
but
style.
I'm just saying it's not fantasy. If see, I think what he's saying, and I probably would feel the same way, is that you paint a scenario and say this is best, and in that scenario, it probably is best. But the
Okay,
scenario you're painting isn't the reality that these things happen in.
okay. So
Trade
what
doesn't
is the
necessarily.
so what is the reality that's going to help Black sons feel like they have hope? Nobody likes talking about that. This is why I talk about management.
I can tell you, they have to look at opportunity as not being something within the world they know. It may be outside the world they know. They have to look outside of the world that they're comfortable with. They might have to travel. I had to travel to find my way in life. I didn't succeed where I grew up. That it didn't exist where I grew up.
Okay, I'm from the hood. That's bullshit. That's not simple. So therefore, so hear me in love.
Right.
When you guys try to help people, you have to not give them a poem. You
No,
have to.
but I'm just saying though, the person who wants has to listen. The
That's a
person
poem.
but that's the truth.
No, but it's a poem.
But it's not a poem if it's the truth. The truth. What I'm
Okay,
supposed to
it's a
say? How am I
truth.
supposed to say that? How
It's
am I
a
supposed to
truth
say
to
that to
you.
somebody?
I got a gat and a bag of dope, and I just made 11,000 last year.
Well, see, you painted a fantasy storyline.
No,
I'm
that's
not
not
looking,
fantasy.
but
That's
I'm
dudes on the
saying
block.
you talking about a dude on the block. I'm not talking about the dude on. I'm talking about people in need of an opportunity. That's a general. You're picking a specific group of people and saying solve that specific problem. I can't solve that specific problem. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
So
Understood.
I'm saying if you paint a picture and you say, how do you help the dude that's got drug money and get him off the block into a better life? I'm gonna tell you, he's got to stop doing the drug money thing first before I can do anything with him, because now I'm competing against something I can't compete with. That's too big of a challenge to tell someone who has help for people to go help this extreme storyline. That person already has a trade. It's called a drug trade. He specializes in selling drugs and committing crimes and surviving. He has a trade. That you want me to convert his trade of doing drugs and crime into some job?
No, 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 no. You're free to see it how you see it. I have a solution for the gentleman.
So the dude that's already got a trade of selling drugs and
Yeah,
crime, you have what's the solution?
go be a manager.
That sounds like poetry.
No, it's not, because so many people I've told this have left the block and did it. My homeboy make 170 right now as a
So
warehouse
he
manager.
just stopped being a drug dealer one day and
See,
walked into
see,
a
see.
warehouse and said, "Give me a job."
This is the thing, and you know I love you, Yogi.
No, but
This is the,
I'm asking you a sincere
I'm trying to
question,
answer. I'm trying to answer.
but I'm asking a specific piece of your question. But my question is
Yes, he
specific.
stopped
He
selling
stopped selling
drugs.
drugs
I
and
had
walked
another dude
into,
that stopped pimping. I had another dude that stopped doing armed robberies.
and then the next day they went to work for Home Depot or somebody.
Within 30 days, they went and got a job as an assistant manager, is what I told them. Get you a simple job as a assistant manager, work on the weekends. They got in there. They started learning how to do payroll and all this stuff. And they said, oh, this shit is easy. And then next thing you know, oh, I get 3 G's for this? Yeah. Now
Well,
try to
then,
be a manager. Oh man, I get 6 G's for this? Yeah. It's a perception thing.
but
Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
confused me. What your original question was is why are we telling people to get a trade when they'd be better off getting a job as a manager? And so there's no reason to ask that question if you have the answer. You should say the answer to people should be go to get a manager job. Don't worry about getting a trade. It's easier.
Well, I've said that already.
Well, then, if you have the answer, then what's the point of asking questions if you have the answer?
Because I always believe I have to be open to other people's viewpoints.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's one of the difficulties in asking a question that you have an answer to, is that you're challenging people to prove something that you already have proof of that makes you happy with already.
No, I'm not challenging anyone. I want to help people outside of myself.
But you said you have an answer, and that's a good answer. If you can say you can reach those people, I'm telling you, I can't reach people, even though I come from that world.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say give up this reality that makes you successful, it might be dangerous, and come over into this world that comes with challenges that may be ups and downs.
Okay, give me a second. Jeremy is with us. Jeremy, thank you for tuning in, man. What are your thoughts on what you've heard so far? And this show is for you, Jeremy. So enlighten me, man. Where did Mr. Research get it wrong?
Oh well, when you first got on, you said never get a trade or never. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, go ahead.
Never get a trade or become a manager first, because I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm hearing Yogi Fish. I like some of his ideas where he's coming from as well, but I like your ideas as well, Mr. Research. But what I'm saying is, for you to become a manager in anything, it's going to take you at least 2 to 3 years.
No, 6 months.
To become that manager.
6 months. 6 months.
6 months? And where? Are we talking about corporate America, or what are we talking about?
You have to learn management. What management is. Management is payroll, people, product.
Okay. Well, we'll take your word for that. So, say if you going through in the management and you say principal, 5 years of teaching right there. Then you need to go to school for a certificate that may take you a year for leadership as well. They won't even let you become you become an assistant principal for that, maybe 2 or 3 years of teaching. But it takes 5 years just to become a principal.
Okay.
That's a management position.
Yeah, it is.
Different wording for it, but that's a management position.
It is, but you can also apply for the lead secretary at the same school and have 1/3 of the power. You can also apply for a lead counselor. Well, no, they're gonna ask you for the counseling degree. You can you can do you can do what's the other one you can do? If you can sit up here and go teach be a factor teaching whether it's wrestling, tennis, school, and you can go have a voice in there. I've seen those things happen. So there's always
most definitely. I'm just trying to figure out your concept of
okay,
it.
So here's the concept, everybody. Here's the concept. And shout out to you, Gabe. You said if you start with an answer, there's no discussion. No, that's your style of perceiving it because you're looking at it from a finite point of view. This isn't about me. Just what I was saying to Yogi. This isn't about me, whether I have the answer or don't have the answer. My thing is, I believe it's dangerous to tell dudes, go get a trade, because there's not enough people who look like you that are hiring.
This is where I'm coming from.
Go ahead.
There's an absence of certain people in trades, as far as HVAC, plumbing. Many of them 55 and over is getting ready to retire. So it's going to be a big old gap where you're going to, like as you talk about, let the immigrants come and take it over. Or should we have some black men that may not be that educationally inclined and go to school for a trade they can learn within 6 months to a year? So many of these older guys is retiring out of these fields. I'm not saying go get any trade, construction. I'll tell you stay away from that. But HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and you can make good money and be a manager within that trade.
Right.
That's all I would.
Well, we know HVAC is regional, though. HVAC.
It depends.
Yeah.
HVAC.
Everybody don't need. Every state don't need HVAC. The only people who need HVAC is the hotter climates and the colder climates. The people in the middle.
The United States.
Hold on for a minute. Yogi want to say something. Go ahead, Yogi.
No, I was going through. I was listening to what you were saying about HVAC. I didn't know that it was just limited to those climates.
Yeah, because okay. So let me clear it up. Because thanks for catching me, Yogi. When it comes to the percentage of demand, so it's kind of like going to Wisconsin and you got all this tech experience.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be somebody you can find in Wisconsin, maybe a few hundred people, but that ain't going to be the place for tech.
Well, but see, the original. I'm sticking with your original premise of going seeking management
Hold on.
over
Gabe, stop
trade.
it. Every state don't need HVAC, dude. Stop it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, but see, like
I disagree with that.
Go ahead, Yogi. We were listening to you.
No, I didn't hear what he had said. But
No,
see,
he said, I'll tell you what he said in a minute. Go ahead.
yeah, my thing is on the term trade because I think anything you do that's got a title to it becomes a trade.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like
The only reason I can't use that though, Yogi, is because then making tiles is a trade.
Yeah, it is. That is an industry.
Yeah. I know. I used to sew beds way back when. Making sheets is a trade, and now it's so diluted that we can't even have the discussion because it is anything can be a trade. Making spray bottles is a trade. I mean,
well,
so
but see, the trade is a different term. See, trade is the industry, like you say, plumbing. Within plumbing, there's a lot of pieces to plumbing, but you're in the plumbing trade.
Okay,
you know,
so
if you're a journalist, you're a journalist trade, but you might be the writer. You might be another category.
Let's move it forward. Call it whatever you wish, Yogi. We're about to get back to you in a minute, Jerry. Call it whatever you wish. Why is the EEOC have so many black men unemployed?
Well,
if getting this spray bottle trade is so lucrative, it's going to help.
I didn't say anything were lucrative. See, now you add another piece. Well, wait a minute, brother. See, you paint. I'm only listening to your scenario.
Hold on, let Jeremy get a piece of it. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead.
But see,
Jeremy.
you didn't say anything about economics. You just said job. You can get a job pushing a broom for $2. So
your question again: why is the EOCC is not so many black men are in court or suing companies because of unequal treatment? What was the question? I didn't get the whole spectrum of it.
Okay, so let me start again because I'm gonna take my buddy Yogi Fish's thing on this, and even yours, Jeremy. I want to help black sons. I believe the quickest route is for them to take an assistant manager job. And in 6 months, you'll know how to do management.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go become a manager damn near anywhere. There's people here on the YouTube streets that I have made manager in less than a year. And they're working management.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making way more money.
Okay,
there's people who came on our panels. Hmm. There are people who have came on our panels and told y'all, Mr. Research changed my shit, and now I'm killing it.
Hmm. And I agree with you, but that's for a percentage of who you help, because every manager position don't pay a lot more. Some it's just more work, but it depends on the experience of that manager position. Some people leave and be managers and go somewhere else, and they won't even hire them as a manager.
I hear what you're saying on that, but here's the thing. You're right about the pay. So let's start there. When you go learn management, and somebody called me tonight. Now, I'm already working, but my resume is out there, and people call me all the time based on my certifications. And somebody called me for X a dollar amount. I told them I couldn't consider nothing except for this amount here. That's as high as I'm going. I mean, that's as low as I'm going. It's like what I told my guys when I was counseling them. You have to, once you become a manager, you have to dictate to the market what you're willing to and not accept. So you are right, Jeremy. You become a manager, there are some lower paid scenarios out there, but you can jump up very quickly by just demanding your number and moving on. Still continue to work and just demanding your number and moving on. And I've proven it through the people who I counseled. They were able to do all that in a year, and they're like, fuck yeah, Mr. Research. And I'm like, cool. But when it comes to the trade, I hear people say get a trade. So let me agree with you guys. Get a trade. But who's hiring them? Because most of these people are sticking to their culture. Let Gabe get a little bit, Jeremy. Gabe, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Rock on.
Your microphone's up. Yeah, I don't think that whole idea, because it seems like this is starting to go more towards the direction of being able to do something to get into management fast and be able to earn a certain amount, whatever you think is or you consider to be a lot, right? And I think that that isn't only relegated to management. That's in so many different fields. And even as it concerns those individuals who are working in trades, I mean, especially as it concerns HVAC, that's an emerging and booming field. I mean, it isn't just only relegated to regions. Individuals can work for large organizations like a Siemens or an ABB or a Fox. And literally every single building that you go into, it has some HVAC system, right? Some way to manage and some way to control the habitability and the temperature of that building. So that's not region specific, and they are always hiring HVAC technicians. So you might consider it as a trade and something that's not very viable for a career, but that's not what the industry is saying. And also, okay, I don't think it's always the quickest, and the quickest solution isn't always the best solution. I think it really requires a tailored approach to the careers and opportunities that brothers should take upon.
Okay, I kind of see what's happening. I think I'm hearing overall what the numbers are. My heart is for Black sons to win. So if what you said is true, without putting it back on the Black men, because I so think that's disingenuous when people make these statements, these strong arguments for an industry, and then they put it back on, well, he just not willing to get it, and he just not, because there are other human resources factors that I don't think you guys take into consideration. But I'm gonna be open, Gabe, because I love the challenge. And then we'll come back to you, Yogi Fish, and then we'll come back to you, Jeremy. So with that said, Gabe, without putting it back on the guy, he goes to get this trade. Now what?
What do you mean without putting it on the guy? What does that mean?
Without saying it's up to him. It's up to his determination. It's up to, because see, in management, it ain't up to him. It ain't his determination. Once he becomes manager, you start getting harassed for jobs.
You get harassed for jobs in so many different fields. You get harassed for jobs.
I get that. I don't want to spin to that. Okay, I'll agree with you on that. So like you just said, there's so many different scenarios. So once this guy gets this trade, what does he have to do next?
I think for anything, I think it's the same thing for management. An individual has to apply themselves, have to seek out opportunities, They have to develop their network. What you mean, there I go? I mean, that's literally across the board. So applying yourself and putting forth and taking on opportunities isn't only relegated to like that's not a bad thing. That should never be counted out for brothers to do.
I'll give you that.
I don't understand that.
I'll give you that. Let me ask you a couple of quick questions before I go back to you, Yogi. So I've had this happen about 6 or 7 times in my career. Has anybody ever told you that you were too dark-skinned for the job?
No.
You've never experienced that, huh?
Never.
So see, this is where the Grand Canyon is between you and I. You've never experienced some of these things. And
wait, because nobody has said,
let me finish.
Dark skin?
Yeah, several times. No,
I'm saying, like, why is there a Grand Canyon? Because nobody's ever told me that.
Because I don't know if you have sometimes, I said this about one of my family members. One of my family members, from the time they've been 19, they've bumped into blessing after blessing after blessing. And they've never had enough adversity to even know what it is. And I think you fall in that category.
How can you draw that conclusion from just a YouTube conversation with?
No, I just asked the question. Have you ever been told that you were too dark-skinned for the position?
Because I've never been told I'm too dark-skinned for the position doesn't mean that I've never faced adversity in my career progression. No,
I'm quite sure.
You're just really painting this picture that really tries
I'm quite sure you face. I'm quite sure you have faced some form of adversity, but not to that horrific state.
So that puts you in the position where you are more in the position to speak to these things. But because I have never been told that exact type of thing, then I disqualify myself.
No,
from
no,
having
no,
a
no,
conversation.
no. It not
I'm trying to
at all,
understand.
because not at all, because all information is great. I just think that that's why you answer some of these things the way you answer in a just go do it scenario, because
I haven't had your experiences in a career. That
this
means
isn't just
that
my experiences, brother. This is a lot of people's experiences.
well, the example you brought up is someone saying that you were too dark skinned for a position. So you are speaking about your experiences.
Okay, I've never asked these two gentlemen. They may agree with you. I don't know. I'm gonna ask.
Sure.
Jeremiah, just out of curiosity, has anybody in your career made it known that your appearance or your skin tone, let's be more specific because that's what I use, was not necessarily comfortable with them for that type of role at any time in your career? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, great. But go ahead.
But like I said, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because I think a lot of times they just don't. It's weird in corporate America. They base a lot of things off how you talk, your hair texture,
Name.
So I'm a dark skinned dude with nice curly hair, so you know what I'm saying. So they really don't. They kind of like, I don't know what this guy, what he really is, but we'll give him the job. But when it comes to actually being over, you can be over these Latinos, you can be over these black folks, but when it's actually time to be over these white folks,
Yeah, this is a conversation.
it might be a problem to be
Dark.
You might be a little too black for the job.
Right.
So
Well, okay. You go 50-50, so that's one for Gabe, one for me.
He did not say 50-50. Stop it. He said no.
Okay,
he said no.
I'll put it on his side.
I'll
put it on his side.
We're not in opposition. We're not on sides. This is just the reality. He says he hasn't experienced it. I haven't experienced it.
This is what I do.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I'm not in opposition. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead. What have you had?
I'm gonna say this up front. I have 3 answers, so don't kill one of my answers because I got 2 others.
Go ahead.
So
don't worry, he will.
No one has boldly said to my face anything about my color. That's never happened. Where they said you're too dark or whatever for this job. The second one is I've had a person say I'm too black acting, meaning I'm too ethnic acting for this environment, because we it's a corporate environment and we like people that come across as corporate, and you seem to have more of an ethnicity to your character. You would be uncomfortable. They didn't say like I wouldn't be good for the job. They said I would be uncomfortable. So they didn't say it like we don't want you. They just said it like, do you want this job?
I've heard that variation too.
Right. It's like you're great.
I don't think this will work for you. I think
no, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I was overqualified for the job because I was in the military, which comes with managerial experience. I was trying to be the editor at Johnson & Johnson. The guy wanted me to be the manager of the whole department. And he said, So I said, I'd rather not, because I don't want to be that invested in all these other people. I just got out the military. I don't want to have that responsibility. And he said to me, well, you're probably right, and then he explained why my mannerism would be something that I would probably get resistance from. He wanted me to do the job because he didn't like the guys who was in the department. He wanted me to be the bad guy and get rid of them all. so I didn't want the job, but that person did tell me culturally that you're a little edgy, where most corporate guys are real straight down the line.
What's the third one?
The third one is the person told me I wasn't black enough. Imagine that. I'm not black enough. They wanted to hire a black person specifically to fill some sort of, we got black people here who can speak to the black cause. I don't really walk around speaking for the black cause. I just
hold on for a minute. So Gabe, have you experienced any of those 4?
Nope.
Well, but I'm
You
just
haven't-
saying, though, a lot of people are afraid to approach race in those jobs unless they're given the authority to do so, because that equals you in corporate world or any job. You can't bring up people's race as part of the hiring, so no one's going to really authentically.
You can bring it up. It's just whether the employee can prove it.
Well, now the people that brought it up for me was purposeful because they were trying to hire minority people and black people. So you can bring it up on those calls, but you can't say, "Oh, you're too dark for this job." No, who's going to say they get sued? So
No. You can only sue. I've been through court twice on this. You can only sue if you can prove that it was done.
But I'm just still saying you could be. I didn't say that you were going to be. I said you could be. Who would risk it anyway? You know what I'm saying? What EEOC?
You would be amazed. You would be amazed at how some of these Karens are emboldened to say stuff on the sly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, what kind of do you really want to work for a place like that anyway?
Yes.
Yeah,
you have
I understand.
options. You don't settle for.
I
No,
want
I
to work for somebody
understand.
that thinks like that anyway.
I mean,
I
you
understand.
don't settle for those places. So you just keep it moving.
Yeah.
No, I understand. For a lot of people, it's like just scurry off.
No.
No, it's not scurrying off.
See, you do that. You throw in something that makes it seem
Well,
like
you
the
know,
person's being
Won't he?
weak
He
or
does it all the time.
Yeah, but
Yo,
I'm
he
a
does it all
warrior.
the
I don't
time.
like. I don't like the whole bend over run thing.
let me say this clearly.
I'll follow
I
up.
understand what you're saying in principle. You're trying to help young people pick a path that's going to give them more of a chance versus the other one that's going to come with built-in obstacles. I'm just saying everything you try has got an obstacle. If you're black, you're going to have an obstacle for being black. That's just built into Welcome to America.
Right.
But
and
I'm
I think
saying,
a way to
go ahead,
Okay,
Gabe,
go
and then I got to go back to Jeremy. It's his
I'm
show.
just saying, if you get a technical trade, like if you're an engineer, mechanic, or something like that, whether they like your race or not, if their car broke down, they're going to go to the guy that can fix it, not the guy that's white that can't.
That sounds like skills to me. But
Right.
he didn't like so
you have something to
that's a bit
fight
of my-
with a skill set versus they hired me to manage their people. That's a skill. But like you said, there's a lot of jobs for managers. So guess what? There's a lot of people for that. So you're not that special being a manager, where if you're an engineer, if you got a job as an engineer, they're looking for another one, and they're scarce because they all got jobs doing something.
Yep. So that's a bit of my background, Yogi. My bachelor's was in electrical engineering, and I just completed a master's in cybersecurity technology. And I work as a security consultant, so kind of a combination between those two environments. So I have experienced multiple times where, and it's like I don't want to take Mr. Research's word, but power, right? You have more power when you're wanted many more places. It's like relationships, right?
Very
I mean,
true.
when you are the person who is the quote unquote prize, they use that in this space very often.
Right.
You have so many different options. So and I think that, and I want to kind of comment on that statement that you said, Mr. Research, about scurrying off. It's not about scurrying off. I think it's about knowing your worth and demanding it from any organization, because you know what you provide and what you bring to the forefront, and you're not settling for less within that environment. If you're experiencing something whack, something that you do not want additional stressors, because you are skilled, you have the capability to go somewhere else and be able to demand your standard, right, from that other company, or doing your own thing. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Jeremy, go ahead, sir.
Also, I don't think we understand that how much stress black managers are put under compared to their white, Asian, and even Latino counterparts sometimes. They put more stress on the black managers than they do other managers as well.
Very true. So let me minimize myself and get into interview mode for the three of you. So I kind of know where Yogi's gonna say, so I'm gonna preference this. So I'm a black dude. I've been. This is kind of hard because see, I've volunteered for so many black boy groups over the 2 decades. I know that it's very difficult for these dudes to feel empowered. So when people say you gotta go for it and you gotta, these type of dudes need something that's almost a guarantee walk in. And I know I know from what I'm hearing so far, you the delivery that I'm hearing so far is not about, hey, this will be a guaranteed walk-in. The delivery I'm hearing is your aptitude. So let me stick with the aptitude part because I don't think that I can paint a picture that would help the black dude on the streets. So how can this dude with the aptitude, gentlemen, and I'm gonna start with Jeremy on this one because he's been the quietest. How can this dude with the aptitude and the drive, how can he move forward because see, here's my problem, Jeremy. The EEOC numbers for black men is getting higher and higher and higher. And other black men are like, I got mine, you need to get yours. I don't know how that's powerful when women are looking out for women, whites are looking out for whites, Asian, and the black man is the only one telling these young newly born dudes with drive, I'm not going to risk like Mr. Research. I'm just going to say you can do it. Help me, Jeremy. I'm going to be quiet.
Well, as far as the ELC is concerned, since the 90s, they haven't done too much for black men. Many minorities getting what you call minorities, women.
But hold on, black men haven't done nothing for black men. It's really the black men are not hiring black men. Black men hire white people, Asians, and black men have bought into I'm gonna hire the most qualified, while his Asian partner's not doing that, and he's not even checking his Asian partner. But I'm sorry to interject. Go ahead.
Oh, I agree with that. There are some black managers for the fear of maybe getting tossed up out of there or losing their job, hiring too many, you get too many black faces in there, they're going to replace you. And I've seen black managers do that before. When they hire too many black people around here, it's like, hey, can't have all these black people around here. So I think to some degree, what you're saying about black managers, they're not looking out. I think it's more like what you said the other day about lawyers. I don't think people realize how much I went to school with lawyers and people going to law school, how much dedication and things they have to do to become a lawyer, or even just get a degree. That about the time they make it, they're like, I don't even think they sell out. They're just like, I'm not reaching back for that because I don't want to lose that. I work too hard for this. There's a lot of discipline that comes with becoming certain things.
Once they get in the firm, they selling peanuts, popcorn.
Right. I don't think it's necessarily because I think most black men do want to help black men, but they know if they reach out, hey, that's the no, buddy. Your career, your license, all that stuff. None of that stuff is cheap, and your whole life went down the drain. So what you gonna do now? Go work at McDonald's? You're not about to risk that for some guy you barely know. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Research, but I look at both perspectives of that nature.
It's so funny. I'm going to move over to Yogi Fish, but it's so funny because I'm from the hood, I'm from the dirt, and I'm not even supposed to be in this position that I'm in. Shout out to Gabe. He asked one time on another stream, what are my certifications? So let me read that off real quick because I just thought of that question he had from another stream. But
the stunt time? It's search stunt time?
I have a CPAR, I have a CPC, I have a CSS, I have a RHIT, I have a regular medical billings cert, and then for counseling, I have a LCV. So that's what.
Are we sharing? Are we all going along the line of sharing our certs?
I'm just answering the question that you asked. I just thought about it because I said.
But you answered it back then.
I did. Okay.
You want me to answer yours too? I asked several certifications.
No. I believe
I thought you was doing that. Oh, All right, I'm sorry.
No, we ain't we ain't
I
doing
thought that's
that.
what we was doing. I'm sorry.
No.
Shall I pull up my LinkedIn?
You know
You
what?
pull up my LinkedIn and
Here's the,
we compare LinkedIn.
we don't have to compare LinkedIn. We don't have to compare LinkedIn.
No. I'm just asking. No, I'm just because that's not like what you're trying to do. But all right, go ahead. I'm sorry,
No.
My bad.
No,
I'm
see,
trying to
here's the
understand.
thing, though. Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
The way your career structure is different than mine, so it would be apples and peaches. You know what I'm saying? Yours is different than mine. So it's like you deal in a
Okay.
I don't know if you
an emerging technology field which provides so many different opportunities with the largest organizations in the world, and you're in hospitals.
That is outstanding. You and Mike. You and Mike. That is outstanding. Matter of fact, I don't even consider that tech. Oh, you never met Mike? Mike V.
Oh man, we keep it going.
Mike is in that. But I just sit across from other non-black managers and compete with them on a weekly basis over budgets and people and bullshit. And it's a different level of work.
Yeah, it is, because I think that a lot of my competition is the world, right? I mean, systems and architectures and firms and all types of organizations are in need of the emerging threats coming from nation state cyber actors. And literally, when they have certain issues, they call my firm and they ask for me. So I do think it's different.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
So
I really applaud cyber because I really applaud cyber because it's so brand new.
It's not brand new.
They've taken the video camera that used to sit on the side of your house and they've attached a net to it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Okay, you're talking about IoT. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So,
but no, I didn't know if we were comparing, because that seemed like that's what something you was trying to do there. All right, we can continue with the conversation. My bad.
You're still stuck on this comparing thing, man.
Oh yeah, because that's what you was doing. No, because you was comparing. You were search stunting.
How are we comparing?
You were search stunting. You weren't doing that?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, okay. Now we got a name to it. My bad, Yogi.
I didn't know that was a search stunting.
That's what you was doing.
Wow.
You search stunting. I heard that.
Let me go to Yogi real quick. That was a good one. I got to use that one.
I enjoyed that one, Gabe. I was quiet. I said,
like a dinosaur when he said that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I got a lot of energy, Yogi. Yo, I'm a millennial. I'm early 30s. You know, young dudes.
See, my thing, I like people being confident, and you'll work out the edges.
Hold on, Yogi. That's just like the way we used to compare business cards back in the day.
No, but what I'm going to say is that I like it when people can be honest and take it as much as they give it. So I mean, that was a good exchange, because I'm not like, you know me to some degree, Q. I don't say everything I'm about or what I do and all that, because I think it does come across as bragging or trying to make yourself more than other people. I know you're not saying that to do that, but it does sound like that sometimes, that I want to prove myself, that I'm not just talking, I have something to back it up with, is what you're saying. But it does come across sometimes like, oh, let me stunt a little bit and show you I'm about something, So it's funny listening to Gabe say that regarding how you say it. But I know why you say it, but it was funny listening to that back and forth there. But the
I'm
thing too is,
times, my bad.
but see, the thing too is, I hear what you're saying, Q, wanting to help a specific group of kids get into management. The part is that you're saying management. From my point of view, I'm thinking corporations. If you manage McDonald's, if you work at the home office, you're a manager. If you work at the local McDonald's, you're a manager, but that's a different manager. You know what I mean? So when you say the word manager, I'm hearing corporate manager, not I manage retail or something like that type level. So those are two different levels of management. So yeah, you could probably get into management at the local level or at that level of management easier. But the one Gabe's talking about and I'm thinking about is corporate structure. That's where 6 figures. You're not making 6 figures at Walmart manager. You know what I mean? You're not going to make that at McDonald's. And plus, you're on your feet and you're doing the work too. So you're not really the manager in those levels of jobs, but you can get that manager a lot easier than the one at the corporation. What happened? Did I disappear?
Oh no, you're still here. I'm surprised.
Oh, I was
not saying anything back. Oh man,
Q disappear or what happened?
I don't know, man.
Sometimes he just
Hold on for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I accidentally hit the wrong button.
no worries.
Okay. Go ahead, gentlemen. I was just listening to Jeremiah, but go ahead, and me and Jeremiah are going to catch up. Yogi Fish, go ahead, sir.
No, but what I'm saying is that getting into those jobs, coming from, like you were saying, street dude, that street dude is doing management too already. He's managing his crew, or he's managing his product to sell. He's doing sales. He's doing customer service. He's doing all that. If you're a street dude doing street business, not even if you're doing illegal. If you're selling T-shirts and socks, you're doing customer support. You're doing promotions. You're doing all that kind of stuff. So, you know, back in the day, street crews, the guys that would go out and promote somebody's record or some club event, that was their introduction to being a manager. You know, get your crew out there and promote this event this Friday. So I understand what you mean by being a manager or getting to that position. But for me, it was about, I joined the military, you know, and that gave me some managerial insights and awareness and structure and all that kind of thing. I just don't like being no manager personally, because this responsibility doesn't equal the pay, you know? So for me, it's about what's going to give you the best return on your effort. For me, being a manager is too frustrating. It just doesn't give me, it gives me too much responsibility. Like I got new children now I got to care about. Basically, I don't want that responsibility. Yeah. I'll take 2 people, but a department and their productivity, they can sit back and do whatever. I got to be the one to push them and do all that. I don't want to do all that.
Somebody's looking at me for a higher pay situation, and one of the first questions they ask me is, how do I deal with employee issues between employees? I said, oh, that's easy. You know,
firewall.
No. I believe in developing people. I believe in developing people and putting people somewhat in areas where they're exhausted, not where I expect them to produce that exhaustion, but put them in areas where they're exhausted. I learned years ago, I read this book, God is My CEO. And it's a lot of people.
See, you're a professional manager.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You're a professional manager. You're not just a guy with a managerial job.
I learned it from the dope game. That's the funny thing, though. I learned it from the dope game.
That's a trade of a mental trade. You know what I mean? Like if you're a manager of people, that's different than just having a job as a manager.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So when you say get these young people to become managers, that's not for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna be good at it, or they might get the job, but they're not gonna be good at the job. So
hold on, Jeremiah, go ahead with what you were saying earlier. I want to make sure you're heard, sir. You were saying how you just want to get an understanding on my thought process because I was kind of being a little bit harsh with it.
Yeah, kind of debasing the trade, and I see where you're coming from with certain trades, but like I stated before, there's going to be a lot of trades that will never get taken over by AI, and like I said, a lot of older gentlemen is about to retire, and you could demand your salary or your pay in that field because you're going to be badly needed, and that's plumbing, electric, home inspection, HVAC.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
Type of fields, and you want to be a manager in that, you can do that as well. But if you get a trade, I think truly should start your own business eventually.
True. Going to Gabe. Gabe, I just feel like a lot of these dudes, man, I just don't, one of my friends, Gabe, that I grew up with, I moved back to Cali. He had been working in a school system for quite a while. And, I agree with you and Yogi Fish, his aptitude and his drive wasn't there, but that is the mentality of a lot of brothers, what I call just enough brothers. Okay. And they don't fall in the category with us here. But what the company did was after all them years, 20 something years, they went with another contract, the school system. And then when they went with another contract, that company became defunct. And now here he is with no skills. And he should have took the management route. He should have took the supervisor route there all that time. I agree. At least use that part of what I say. But Gabe, I just feel like so many dudes out here, man, they see these opportunities you talk about. They're not necessarily making no moves, but yet they're complaining about women. They're complaining about not getting sex. And it's like, brothers, if you don't even agree with anything, you can go be a manager. But even if you don't agree with Mr. Research, go do what Gabe talking about. What do you say, Gabe?
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think that the question for that brother who was in that school system is like, what was he doing while he was there? Right? Was he
existing?
Yep. And I think that that's a lot of what I kind of speak about too, is that, you know, I think that you are always supposed to be looking at your next opportunity, even when you have just entered your current opportunity. Like you should always be preparing for the next thing. And I think that you might have called it, you know, that whole putting it on the brother or putting it on him. But I really think that, I mean, one of the only things that we have in this world is choice. That we can choose to stay stagnant. We can choose to pursue an opportunity, or we can choose to do whatever we want to do. But I think I think inevitably it is on the person, how much drive, how many opportunities they want to pursue. I mean, there was a period of time where I've applied for maybe 15, 20 jobs at a time. I mean, got maybe 5 or so. Yeah.
Yes.
And but like even keeping that network open,
even
having conversations.
Got a great job.
that's actually the best time. I mean, that is the best. Oh, that's absolutely the best time. Companies want you, and that's even a negotiation strategy. Like I had
just for FYI, I got 2 online businesses in addition to what I do, and that's one of the reasons I created my second online business on a fluke. Because I was like, I need to be putting these things in, these apps, but I don't need to be doing it because I don't have the time and the mental energy to do it. So I created a mini online company to do it. And now we charge like $300 for a client to put in like $150 worth of applications for. And it's like a reverse headhunter.
Mm-hmm.
We just do that. Yeah. Every week. And so it's like I did that accidentally, and just on what you just said, hey, I need to put this out just on GP just to see what the market think about me. But go ahead, Gabe, and then we'll go to you.
No, like to some of that same point, and just the kind of what I was saying is that you're more desirable when they know other organizations desire you or people desire you. I know one time.
What do you say to people like Carlton who has no certifications?
Can I answer that after I just give this one story? So, no worries. Let's see. Oh, okay. I kind of lost it there. Sorry.
No, that was my fault.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm not sure about the certificate. I don't know what field he's in. I mean, I don't know. But in some fields, like tech fields, or maybe in your field,
though, I would always say get a cert in something, right?
Yeah, something. I mean, I guess it really depends, right? Depends on what field you're in. But I know in tech, certifications can be seen as but then, you know, some developers, your work shows for itself. So maybe if you're like a programmer and you have a public GitHub or something, like that's like your code repository is pretty much your resume. So certifications aren't necessarily needed for developers, but rather projects and proven ability to perform something. So I don't know. I don't have enough information to really add to know why he's still standing. But
that's true. I'm gonna come back to you when you think of your thing, because that was my fault stepping on your toes. Yogi, what are your thoughts, sir?
Well, to answer your first question that you gave about certification, it depends on who's doing the certifying, because not everything's
Oh
Our
yeah, that's true.
our company certifications, some are industry experience certifications. Like, have you had experience working in C++? If you say yes, then they're going to want to say, what have you developed? Are they just going to talk to you in C++ code speak and see if you can answer a question?
True.
They're not going to, a piece of paper won't prove that you grasp what that certificate said you're worth, because you can get a certificate in a lot of things pretty easy, but it doesn't mean you're going to be good at creating a good
But you know what
software with it.
the sad part about it, that on an HR level, the reverse is true many times.
What do you
Many
mean?
times you'll have people who grasp all of that, and these idiots will be like, but they don't have the cert. Man, get the hell out of here, man. This dude
Well, that's what I'm
just
saying. It depends on, see, a lot of corporate, at least in the computer world, developers, it depends on who you're developing for. Because if you're developing for, let's say, Coca-Cola, I did something for Coca-Cola, they need it for legal reasons because of all the internet. A lot of countries require you to have privacy certification on all your apps. So you got to make sure whoever develops or works on your app, it can certify that they made this securely without them getting sued. Somebody says, oh, they stole my ID through your app or something. So in that case, yeah, they want to make sure you're a certified programmer in this language, because it comes with certification that you understand how to maintain security. They need that. But the average person to say, hey, can you make me an app for my website? They're not going through that level of scrutiny of paperwork. So it depends on who's asking you. Like if I do something, I'm developing my own software. So I'm not gonna test myself, but I do need to know the knowledge. So it's the knowledge rules over certification in most circumstances. But corporations are the ones that require all these certifications for liability reasons and legal reasons.
Right.
But if skill sets, if you have a skill and you're good at it and you got some experience to back it up, most people are going to take that, and that's the rule of most skill evaluation is, can you back it up with something?
Very true. Very true. I'm going to go to Jeremy, but before I do, Carlton, you are in PI and things like that. I would just offer some unsolicited suggestion of just put yourself in position for where if one of the brothers want to invest in you, you're ready. One of my homeboys back in Atlanta, when the black version of Cirque du Soleil was rocking and rolling, there was a sister that put that together. And she got some retired animals, and but they were very well treated. And it was an all black circus. Every time she hit town, he said, well, bump that. I'm going to get bonded and go ahead and create my own security service. And at that time, there was only 3 major security services in Atlanta, and he created his own and did all the black events. My old high school guy out in the Bay Area out here, he runs a very dominant security service. They do every major event out here. Him and his three or four Muslim brothers got together and created a scenario. So if there's no certification for you, just get in position, because you never know. Me and Gabe might come and drop a bunch of money, and we see you doing some stuff, man. Or me and Yogi might fly you out. You got to be ready. That's all I'll say to that. Jeremiah, what are your thoughts, sir? And this is a great conversation. Thank you, gentlemen. Jeremiah, what are your thoughts?
Also, I also want to bring this to the light as well. A lot of black men got to understand, a lot of these jobs are staffing companies. They're third party, temporarily. So I don't think a lot of times you understand it was, they know that you're not actually on with this company. You're just with a staffing company. And a lot of jobs have became that now.
Here's what's so sad. You're not on, but if you screw up, you actually screwed yourself up from the actual company.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So some things, if you want to beat all that, and the only entity that can hand out a certification truly is state or federal government. So, once you get that, you're good. take the 608 and HVAC, you know, the plumbing certification or whatever, or the teaching certification, or whatever education. But just going from job to job and going to temporary work, and it's truly not your job, but it is. That's not no way to, you know, live. Simply in my opinion.
The start of 2019, it was two brothers on separate different occasions, but they were coming in as contract, and it was their first week. And you know, I tell people, I'm the only brother at the whole hospital, which is sad. But I told these two dudes, I said, "Hey, look, man, tell them you got a family emergency. You don't know if you can return. Okay, I will get you in the back door. Here's my card. Here's my number." We did not have this conversation. And I tell you, those two dudes, they did that. One dude took longer than I expected, but I got them actually hired. And it was all under that thing of, oh, you remember L, right? You remember, oh yeah, what happened? Oh yeah, I had some family thing. But he's applying to the position that you have available next week. And I talk it up and blah blah and use my little power, got him hired direct with the hospital. Now he's not in my division or my area, but he is at a satellite. And then the other dude is at a satellite also. But that's what that's what I just believe, Jeremiah. Is just we got to try to get dudes in. I don't know, man. That's just me. I just think more that they see us, the more that they now I did have an African betray me. I had an African dude. Oh, it was so sad. I'm gonna have to do a video about that dude. I helped that dude. He's now manager of the security department, all because I put him on the project team. And he's like, I don't owe you nothing. I'm like, wow, dude, I didn't know you felt that way. I crazy. But go ahead, Jeremy, and then we'll go back to Gabe.
Yeah, just it's a lot of, you know, illusions out here today. So what you think a job is really not a job. So I hope people understand in 2021, the only way you can truly have a job is get certified, get educated, and those are only the two things. Other than that, the 80s is over. The 90s is over when you walk in and get a job with the company. Most of these jobs, these regular jobs you're getting is with a staffing company. Temporary work, not real work.
Yeah. You ain't lying about that. Gabe, what do you think about these staffing companies?
So I do think, I kind of look at this whole corporate environment and the staffing companies and corporate jobs. I think these all are kind of our chess pieces. They all can be used to their advantage. Some are stronger, some are weaker, right? So I would consider some of those staffing jobs as like pawn opportunities. They can help you advance across the board, but you're typically not about to put the king in checkmate with some pawns. But I do think that they can be useful in certain situations. So maybe one of those situations can be that if you are, and this is actually what I did, when I was working for a local utility company for several years, they were trying to make me the program kind of towards what you were saying, right? They were trying to make me the program manager of the cybersecurity department at the nuclear plant I was working at, because my manager was retiring. But I did not want to pursue that opportunity because I knew that I had not experienced multiple environments and platforms. I hadn't touched certain technologies. So I actually opted to go contracting because I was a young man, single, right? And I just didn't have any ties or anything. I didn't have any mortgage. I still don't have a mortgage, but I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have a vehicle note or anything. So I was more free to be able to pursue those contracting or temporary contract opportunities so that I can get my skills up. So I can say that, hey, I used to work over here in North Carolina where I was traveling from nuclear plant to nuclear plant, providing security guidance for these environments, right? So it's like, I think that was used in order for me to tell my overall corporate story or my career story, to say I've been all these different places, touched all these different technologies, solved all these problems, and now I'm here and I'm presenting that to you to be able to provide to your organization for a full-time role. So I do think that those can be used as opportunities, rather than long-term situations. So I wouldn't completely count those temporary contracts out completely. It can really help to be some resume builders at times.
Yeah, if you finagle them right, I do agree with you. It'll work, but it is a balancing act, because the sad part about it is, and here I go again, on the HR level, some of these middle managers are cowards, and they try to really abuse, kind of like what Jeremiah was saying, or he didn't say it, but I'll say it. They try to abuse the system with these guys, and they try to
How so?
How so, you say?
How so?
So a lot of middle management guys will ask people to do stuff that was never in the job description. Yogi and I will tell you, back in the day, you couldn't do that because that temp or contract job had a set of rules or restrictions that were part of the contract of them getting that temp worker. Now, in the millennial day and age, they know that they can just get another person or get another immigrant. So they borderline threaten you with, we need for you to do whatever we need for you to do, with no promise of longevity. So
but that's why I think that you need to go into those situations with a goal in mind, right? You don't need to just be like, well, I'm here and I'm just working, I'll see what happens. One is that I think we talked about earlier, you always need to be looking for different opportunities. And two, you need to use them just like they're using you.
Absolutely that.
You need to use them just so, like, I was on one contract
for you.
Right. Yeah. So I was on one contract where I knew that I was going to be touching some technology that was beneficial to a larger organization. And I literally would work with the different vendors. I actually wrote a whole bunch of the internal guidance, right? So I'm going to this larger organization for a full-time role with some of that previous experience, saying, oh yeah, I've been in these environments, I've touched that. And actually the guidance that you use to implement this in your environment, I wrote it. So that's why I think that, yeah, they can try to use you for something, but I think that you need to have your own goal in mind when you're jumping into those opportunities.
Absolutely. Let me go back to Yogi Fish and talk about the Black Suns real quick. Let's talk about STEM real quick, gentlemen. So through my investigation, gentlemen, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, STEM is just a certification. It's not an actual industry. It's just a certification.
You trying to turn up, Mr. Research? You trying to turn up? But go ahead.
No, what you talking about? I mean,
turn up.
When it's your turn, hold on. We gonna go Yogi Fish, Jeremiah, and then Gabe, because I haven't seen nothing to state that it's an industry. It's a certification. Man. But Yogi Fish, what are your thoughts? Where did Mr. Research get it wrong?
Well, I'll tell you my version of STEM, because I come from the concept of STEM. It wasn't called STEM back in those days, but it's just categories of skill sets to work in a certain industry.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they call it STEM because they've refined it down to certain industries going in the future. But in the past, it may have been 50 industries that you had to have skill sets for. It's been merged down to certain ones now that you would classify as STEM, because a lot of stuff is obsolete. We don't do that anymore. We don't do it that way anymore. And so those things aren't that required. Certain functionality or skill sets aren't even required anymore, because we got a higher level technology working, AI type thing. So a lot of those industries aren't there anymore. Like NASA has cut a lot of their staff because the jobs aren't even necessary. You know what I mean? That you can fly a plane into outer space without an astronaut. So do you really need all those skill sets, to develop? You need certain computer skill sets now. So that wasn't the beginning of that kind of aeronautics, and all that wasn't controlled by a machine. It was controlled by a person. Now you can set up a machine and say, monitor the air temperature of this plane. Before that was several people doing that. You know what I mean? And going into space, look at Elon Musk. He's sending planes, they landing back on the planet. You know what I mean? Before, think of all the people at NASA that had that job. And now he's got the thing landing on its own. So, but STEM is just an industry of functionalities to get in those areas, but it's very important still, even if you're not going to do those areas.
Why do people call it an industry? I just don't get that part.
It's just an easier way to categorize things. You know what I mean? It's easier to categorize. Like if you say you're in the computer industry, that's a lot of things, but it's easier to say that. Just say computers. Most people don't even deal physically with a computer. They deal with chips and boards. They're not dealing with the whole computer, but it's called the whole industry. So it's easier.
Well, that's just like on the last thing Gabe and I was talking about when he was here last time. No, that wasn't Gabe. That was me and Complex. Me and Complex were talking about, well, what is tech? And I'm like, the term tech involves so many things, but so many things are not tech. And you know, but
see that's what I'm saying. Tech is a general term. It might be mechanical, but electronic tech is a different computer tech. So tech is an overbearing term.
Here's the point that I put forward. The light, the traffic light, is that tech?
Yeah, it's tech. It is tech.
Yes.
That's engineering.
No, see, you're missing the point.
Engineering.
No, it's not. I'm gonna tell you. I'm explaining it to you. The tech part is I need a system to control traffic. That part's technology. How to make it happen might be a mechanical process, but the mechanisms that came into creating the need for the mechanical part is the technology, the systematic way in which that functions. So the person that sets up a gear that says it's going to be, when it was mechanical lights, had to figure out how many gears I need to make it equal a certain time, so to click over and do all these different things mechanically. That was a technical process to create the mechanical function.
Okay, if that's the case, Yogi,
engineering is technology.
Yeah. Somebody had to figure that out first. They didn't just say, "Oh, we'll put a gear in there and it'll work." Someone had to break that down mathematically to say,
"Hey, look, I'm gonna bow down to you guys at a greater thing." But let me ask you
a question. What was your difference on what you thought tech was compared to?
Well, because I believe I'm a big thing on words. I'm coming right to you, Jeremy. I'm coming right to you. I'm big on words. So right. I don't believe words should be blurred, intertwined with other words.
No, but where's the blurring part?
Just like when Gabe said, engineering is tech.
It is.
Okay, so what's the need for the word engineering? Just call it all tech.
No, the process. So you're saying the word as a isolated thing. The overbearing word is technology.
Okay, so here's my question before I go to Jeremy. Is a quartz tech to you?
A what?
Is quartz tech?
Quartz, what do you mean?
In your watch, quartz.
Well, that's an element.
Okay, but it's not tech.
Well, the use of it could be tech, but the element itself is it's an element. It's not.
Okay, it's not that difficult.
I ain't gonna be argumentative because Gabe.
No, but I really want to understand where your difference are.
Never mind. I'm here to learn.
No, wait a minute. No, you can't because there's a reason why you thought that, and there's probably a lot of people that think that too. I'm not.
No, I'm gonna come back to it. Let me move to Jeremy.
Wait a minute, brother. No, wait a minute. I know it's your show, but I got a question. Where is it that you're having differences? Because I don't see where you're having it different, but you obviously
I have no difference. You know what? I'm in 2021.
Right.
And I'm coming to understand that everybody just blends stuff together. And that's part. I personally believe part of I'm
gonna tell you why I'm asking you this question, because I've had this conversation with somebody.
Yeah, I think that this is part of our suffering as melanated people.
I agree with you.
Non-melanated people don't have these types of blended conversations when you speak with them.
Now, I'm going to tell you why I asked the question.
Go ahead.
Whenever I try to tell young Black kids about technology, they get intimidated because they think it means a bigger thing than what it is. And when I break it down for them, I say, well, you're doing technology right now. And they're like, no, I'm just playing a video game. They think that they're just playing a video game. They don't know they're doing technology right now.
Let me
try to get their minds.
Let me
try
go
to
to
help
Jeremy,
engineer-
gentlemen.
engineering
Let
is
me go to
technology.
Jeremy. Gabe, promise I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy. Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, well, I really don't have too much more to add, but yeah, if you're in your late teens, 20s, 30s, looking to get into something, you can always go the educational route. You can go the trade route, specific trade, and also get certified so you can always stay with a job. That's all I have to say.
Hold on for a minute. We're gonna start doing final thoughts. But let's go to Gabe. Gabe, the conversation me and Yogi Fish just had. What are your thoughts, sir?
As an engineer, engineering is technology. Through studying the subject matter.
Gabe, how you got a degree in this? How?
Exactly. That's what we learned. That's what I'm telling you. It's the same.
It is a form of technology, yes, but it is not the 2011 term tech. We didn't have the term tech in 2008. We had it in 2011. That was the birth of the phrase and the terminology tech. We did not have it in 2008.
Yes, we did.
Of course we did.
Oh my God!
I just, and that's why I say like
I'll prove it to you.
research
When you had a
starts
person to come by your house to fix your TV, what was he called?
He was called a technician.
Okay, tech. There you go. Tech. What's the problem you got? It's the technician. The guy that fixed something was a technician. The person that fixes it, who understands the mechanism of the work. He's a technician.
You educated gentlemen,
I
bow to your greatness. I'm a little too hood in this.
No, you don't have to bow to the greatness. You can literally look this up on the internet.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm a little too hood in this conversation, and you two learned gentlemen
it's not about hood,
make
man.
sense to
You
me.
ain't gonna out hood.
No.
Like you come with certifications. You ain't coming with the out hooding.
It's just
Okay,
that
you can't out-hood
you have assertions that are incorrect, and you just don't. You just keep asserting them.
I'm
You're like,
too hood in this
I hear you.
conversation.
No, it ain't hood. Ain't got nothing to do with it. I mean, because the guy that makes crack is a technician. He will tell you that.
Okay.
Right.
It literally is all blended. It's all the same applications. I mean, I don't even know how to even really answer this, but go ahead.
You don't.
Yeah, because it's simple. Like, just Google it. Like, Google is engineering technology. Just do that.
I will do that. I will do that.
I mean, I can do it now. You want me to do it for you?
No. I just think for me, Gabe, the confusion is what do they say, carfunkel or whatever, is when something existed way before the term even was a fad.
No,
And now that those times have blended, now we want to put it all together.
No, we've been to the
physics,
moon.
engineering, technology. It's all the same between the DC motor and the AC motor, like DC and AC electricity. Before that, there was heat, right? People just burned oil in order to generate heat, but it turned into the ability to harness electricity and change that into something that can be serviceable to machine. I mean, this was all here before, and that's advances in technologies, and engineers did this. There's really no delineation between the two. It's you engineering solutions, and it's the same as advancements in technology. It's really not too much of a difference.
Okay,
it might be wording, but really the forms look,
at least you understand that it may be wording. Okay, let's go there.
No wording that you understand. I'm
just confused why this is bothering you. Q, that you keep mixing them up. I don't know how you're mixing them up.
I'm not mixing them up.
No, but you said that it began at a certain point in time.
I believe what's happening is no. Sincerely.
Okay.
I believe what's happening is perception.
No, but you said at a certain time the term came up in a certain period of time.
Yeah, we never called something. See, just because something was called technician.
No, not just technician. But I'm saying
let's just use technician for example.
Right.
We didn't call that we didn't call that person a tech. We called them a technician. We didn't call an engineer a tech, but we're calling them tech now. So
you're talking about
I'm not saying nobody's
and engineers, but technology and engineering is really what we're talking about here.
Yeah, tech is just an
abbreviation.
Those are abbreviated terms of those.
Yes, you may be talking about technology. I'm talking about the abbreviation, the phrasing that was created to differentiate the MySpace era. MySpace, Black Planet. That's when this term really came to be. So yes,
I don't agree.
it is a root word, and it does. That's why I agree with you, Gabe, on wording. It's a root word. It derives from technology and technician, but the creation of the word meant something else. But I'm okay with it all blending together. I just got to get my mind wrapped.
Well, I mean, I understand. See, what I'm saying, for me, the reason I'm harping on is because young kids go through the same process when you try to explain this to them, that they have a mind for tech, being a tech. They think it's bigger than their capacity. They think, oh, I can't do that. That's too big for me. I'm trying to break it down where it's like the word may sound big, but you're doing it right now.
Well, let me start doing my final thoughts, gentlemen, because I got to feed the dog. I got to check my rice too. I'm making the dog rice, chicken, macaroni, and cheese.
Dog shouldn't eat cheese or rice.
Yeah, yes they can.
No, it's against some states. It's against the law.
I don't know why.
I just made that up. I just made that up. See what you'd say.
But yeah, if you guys don't want to get your dogs dog food, man, give them some of this little combo, and it'll put them right to sleep. It'll give them itis, knock them the hell out. Let's start with Yogi Fish. What are your final words, sir? Now that you've made something up.
Well, I just wanted to see if you was on your toes or something.
Oh no! Hey, look, I'm rolling with it. It's all good. I put myself in interview mode. I started learning.
No, but I mean, but the thing we were going back and forth with is something I challenge myself with, how to break what I know down to a young person's mind, to take off the edge of it. Because a lot of people, that's why I don't talk about what I know and do, because it sounds so intimidating. And people are like, well, I don't want to challenge you, brother. He's too deep. Where I'm like, no, I'm not deep. This is my life experiences, but you can do the same thing. This is what you're doing anyway. You're advanced of me. I didn't grow up with this technology in my hands like this. I didn't have
I would have been killing if I had got a half of this.
We didn't even have a remote control.
I'd have got half.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up with a wire was hooked to the TV. That was a remote control, and we thought we were cooking with gas with that. So the things that people have in their hands, they may be taking it for granted that it's something that's insignificant, where I'm like, you have a lot of things you're working with. It's all technology. So you
walking computer.
Yeah, you kids are all technically primed to function in these worlds. You just don't know you're
look, Yogi, there's no cops beating them over the head. There's no German shepherds. They ain't got no water cannons. They
have other challenges, but I'm just saying they have a lot to work with that should not make them feel intimidated. I'll put it that way. They shouldn't think that somebody's smarter than them when they're sitting there doing things that take a lot of intelligence to do. They just take it for granted because they're used to it. But a lot of older people can't do what they do because it's alien to them. Where these kids can do remotes, they can do this, they can talk, they can do all this stuff simultaneously, and they think it's nothing, and they don't realize they're doing something high level. They're pretty high tech minded people. So that's my final thoughts. Kids are smarter than.
Thank you for coming up.
They need to know they're smarter than they think they are.
Need to know they're smarter. Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir, for coming up. Gabe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You're next.
Yeah, I think that not too much, man. Enjoy the conversation. I like the search stunting. I like that. That was good. I like that.
That's a new term for me, man. That's so funny.
I'm telling you. What was I gonna say? People do it, man. I see all the time. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. My homeboy in Atlanta, he wants me to go back to school and finish my degree. I've decided to go ahead and go back, but I think that's gonna put that into perspective too. If I put that on the resume, because it's so funny. People say stuff about my resume. Oh, I'm like, I'm like, whatever.
I kind of hit that approach with like degrees, certs, and experience, man. It makes it very difficult for anybody to tell you what you're not worth when you have it all,
Man.
but
Somebody said to me, "Oh, you believe you're on a pedestal?" No, sir. No.
Mm.
I know what you're gonna ask of me.
Yep. Absolutely.
And therefore,
And I think that's
because somebody, I had an HR person ask me a bunch of stuff, and I broke down their whole thing. Is there a backlog? How many years out? How many months out? How many patients do you have? And they was like, "Oh man, this." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not a regular dude who's just gonna say yeah to something. I mean, nah."
Right. And I think that the thing about it is that it's really like you put in the work and you demand what the market is giving for the skill set that you have. You're just demanding it out of the market. You say, "Hey, I know what the market is charging for this. I know what the market is providing for this skill set. I have it plus, gimme," type of thing. That's kind of how I look at it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And look, be able to walk away so they can respect you more.
And that's why it's easier when you have an opportunity. You can say, "I actually like where I'm at.
True.
Impress me."
True.
Impress me.
I sat down with these two ladies and they read me the whole thing, and I said, "Ma'am, respectfully, you're not going to be able to do that. But if you wanted me to, I'm telling you right now, it's going to take 4 to 6 months to make that happen. And especially because you have such a backlog." And I was basically running this interview now. This happened like 5 years ago. And they were so shocked. "Oh, we thought we'd be able to get somebody for." No, ma'am, you're not going to be able to do that. But if you would like to reach out to me, man, I cut the interview short.
Yeah. You can tell what they have to offer by just you can tell just by the conversation. So
right.
That's all I gotta say. I don't got too much more. Yeah.
And to my point for bringing it up, 2 years later, they had to get rid of that division.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could have saved it for you, but you would have had to give me my number.
Yeah. Exactly. Like they want to underpay, but for skill set that costs. So
right. Because the last person took an underpay, but guess what? They're not here. That's why they bailed out. So
exactly. So it's just like it's all a game. And really the overall goal for me is to not really be in this at all. I want to just continuously just build my real estate business and keep it pushing. Like I don't really want to have to. And my wife says the same thing because she deals with issues at the hospital and people have these personalities. She's just like, let's just keep on building this empire and decide what we want to do.
I plan on jumping into the real estate side also, probably the end of this year or the end of next year. Man,
it's been good over the years. So I got in probably I was like 22, 23. I purchased my first home back in 2012, 2013.
I think I remember you saying something on O'Shea show about that.
Yep, and just kept on building and building, man. And now I have five properties rented off, rented, paid off, and everything. Yeah, man. So my wife is like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna keep it going." I'm like, "Cool, let's make it happen."
And you know what? It's really good. You got to talk about that at some time to have a wife who's actually part of the plan and the mindset, and not somebody that's working with the sisterhood. Because that work. You know what? Women don't understand. And I'm not going to get too deep about your wife, but women don't understand that it's really about who wants to work with the team, versus who wants to please the girls.
Yeah,
that's really it.
And it's funny because she has such an interesting perspective. Because it's so funny because I hear like the Kevin Samuels because she's been listening to him lately, and she's like, "Man, these chicks are nuts." Like, wow. I mean, she'll be sitting there listening, like, because she has no idea about the manosphere or anything about that, and she'll like just listen and be laughing, like, did you hear what she said? Did you hear what type of dude she said that she actually want?
Yeah,
what is she like? I'm like, oh man, she loves it, and she's like, I guess she listens to it because she realizes that a lot of people have made a lot of bad decisions, and she just feels blessed that she's in we have our situation. So
you know what? I'm gonna leave you with this. Like I tell dudes all the time, it's about whether you have a very good wife that determines whether you got a very good marriage. Because
Oh yeah.
when these women can run to court at the drop of a dime, or do something shady, or just be Jada Pinkett,
Oh yeah.
You as a dude just got to be happy that you don't have one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I recognize that, right? I mean, a lot of dudes are in situations, and a lot of times people are like, oh, you just think you got the perfect life or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't. I know that it can be different anything can happen, right? Nothing is promised, but I'm just happy and blessed that I have my situation. And she's just about done with clinicals too, man. She'll be done in December. She'll be a nurse anesthetist. So I'm sure you know about a lot about that role. So she'll be coming out in December, and we just making it happen. So,
we're going to talk about that on another time, but I appreciate you, Gabe. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure.
Chop it up with you next time.
Same, man. Peace out, man.
All right. Jeremiah, thank you for your patience. Did you get the clarity? And actually, I learned something here too, especially about blending theoreticals and different the way people view things perception wise. To answer your question directly, Jeremy, again, I just want Black sons to win. So I guess sometimes, man, I take the easier route because I know these dudes are not the Optimus Prime Thundercat that maybe they should be. So I look at stuff like management and supervisor as their easy way. You can go to McDonald's and do that. And I think to Yogi Fish's point, Jeremiah, sometimes doing the stuff that most of us do is too daunting for them. It's too, you know what I'm saying? Man, I get tired of hearing dudes say, man, they don't want me. Man, stop saying that shit.
Yeah, I agree. And that leads to the point. I think we both have a cohesiveness that we want Black sons to win, but I think that's why certain channels focus on the easier things for us. Just be a trucker. There's more complex trades than just a trucker. Like I said, we know it's more complex things than plumbing and HVAC, but you can do that. But why just drive truck? That's simple.
Yeah, and see what my problem with the trucking industry is, it's good now, but like I keep telling people, the Indians are coming, and I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong, but the Indians are Pakistan. People should go look up Pakistan and Indian truck culture in India. Them dudes have the inside of their trucks decked out. They run them trucks like cabs. Can you imagine all that coming out here? And they're already, the women have already started putting Indian and Pakistan truck stops along the major trucking routes for their people. How about that, Jeremy?
Well, as far as trucking, that was something of the 70s, the 80s. If you was a Black man coming out of straight out of high school, that would have been a great career to get into. But we always got to be relevant to our time as of 2021. And going right into trucking, it's too much contracts, this, that, and the third, compared to if you go to something to stop what people need every day. You won't have this type of problem. And I think that's why certain channels, when they have these segments of become a trucker, they're not even talking about real estate. I heard you talk about real estate. I thought I wanted to get into that as well. Right. But they're not even getting in depth on that. There's always trucking. And I believe exactly what you just said. Man, they don't want me, so they feel like I just be the big dumb Negro that just drive a truck. I'm not even smart enough to fix somebody heating and cooling.
Right. Yeah, so man. I think we have to put ourselves in position. I think that's my concern, is that even in my area, I don't see enough of us. Yes, there are entrepreneurs doing what they do, but I've seen a lot of people lose it by the time they turn 50. So got to be aware of that too.
Correct.
People be thinking they got it. Not necessarily. You gotta, and then when I'm in some of these circles,
the reason they don't respect the black man is because, like I said, they don't see enough of us in power. I think that's my biggest concern, Jeremy. What are your thoughts on that? I just see too many dudes settling for what I call labor work. It's like, nah, dude, run these white folks.
Well, as far as the labor work concerned, that's oversaturated with poor white, Latinos, and you as a black man, this is not the 1970s when you could come out and work at a construction site and just get on by that. Most of the time, your person who's going to be over you is going to be a poor white or a Latino guy. They're going to make you do all the extra hard work compared to if you got certified for something. They're going to have to kind of kiss your butt because there's a lot of people leaving out this view. And even if the immigrants come over here, they still have to be certified in this or they won't be able to work. And that's what I'm telling a lot of black men. Okay, you may not want to be a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, none of that. That don't suit you. But don't go for the lowest trade. And like you said, some of these towns just stick to this trucking thing, and it's just like, why y'all so hell bent on just driving trucks? How many segments is not that complex about driving trucks? Touch on another thing, have another guy. And that's what I shout out to Jason Black. At least he has sometimes he did an IT segment. He got people on there talking about IT, cybersecurity. I'm just keep hearing trucker. You know, I don't want to shout out certain names, but you know, I just said one today. It's like, how many times you gonna keep talking about trucking and this, that, and that kind of make me think that you don't think much of black men and that's all they can do is drive trucks. And I think even if you're in a certain field, you're greater than that. Choose the highest thing in the trade. Choose a plumber, choose a laborer, choose an HVAC technician. Something that can actually make you use your brain.
Right. Yeah. Use your brain. Just like I was saying to the fellas, man, it's different when you're sitting across people and you got to be one-on-one with them mentally. It's a different conversation, man. But, and then I think the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that I pull people in. Like, my job to me is not really relevant. My life outside of work is more relevant to me. So that's why at one point in time I was going to take a lower pay situation for less mental engagement. Not because I don't feel stressed, but it's engagement. And somebody said, "Well, why would you do that?" I'm not in a position to necessarily have to engage for extra, 10 G's. I mean, no. Well,
and I think when they see a lot of black men coming through the door, they already got all these baggage and issues. So try you and see what position you in, how desperate you are for this job.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of times they're like, "Oh, you must be desperate." I don't know what you have. They probably have child support. They probably got bills backed up, rent backed up. So, and trucking school only takes 3 weeks. That's nothing.
Right.
So they figure you're already in this. What you're saying, what I'm saying when I'm hearing about trucking and stuff of that nature, or construction, you're already in the ditch. You don't even have 6 months out of your life to even go to being or a year to be a plumber, because and once you become that, it's only a year apprenticeship after you get certified in those type of positions. Year or two at the most. So you're not using your whole life to become that. But 3 weeks and all you may make until you get your own operated truck is you might possibly make $40,000. You can't live off that. Why paying rent on a truck? I'm just saying.
Man.
Compared to when you go get something else, and then, like I said, I understand.
So like I said, you're gonna make 40,000, 50,000 assistant manager at IHOP.
Right.
I mean, not even manager, assistant manager, part-time manager. At IHOP, you're gonna make 40 grand. You make 60, damn near 70 as the manager, depending on what your intake is. So,
I used to work at a grocery store
Hold on. I got to kill this stream. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, got to kill the stream. I'm finna finish talk to Jeremiah while I feed the dog. Got to feed the dog because it's getting dark. Much love. Talk to y'all later. Peace. All right, Jeremiah, keep going.